You know, you guys, whenever I get into a conversation myself or see one unfolding over the internet regarding the Sacramento Kings, there's usually only a handful of topics that the conversation will eventually transition into or even end with. And these topics, as most of you probably know, range from the classic mentioning of the 16-year playoff drought that Sacramento is still trying to dig themselves out of, the very questionable to many Tyrese Halliburton trade that occurred last year, which has many NBA fans and even Sacramento Kings fans possibly still scratching their head to this day, and even with many people also clowning the Kings early in the season with their relatively sluggish 0-4 start to the season. It just seems like many people don't like to say positive things about this team. But if you were to dig just a little bit deeper into what's been going on in Sacramento, you might know that they are one of, if not the hottest teams in the game of basketball right now. And while that might sound like a stretch to some of you watching, what they are doing, and more specifically how they are doing it, is in a way that almost nobody around the league could have possibly expected from this team. So let's get into it. One sec though, guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to drop a like on the video if you enjoy, and subscribe to never miss another NBA video. But speaking of the NBA, with so many sportsbooks out there, we want to make sure that when you bet on the games that you have a platform that makes it simple for you to bet and win, like today's sponsor in MyBookie. MyBookie has a massive selection of props, odds, and contests for every sport you can imagine, anytime, anywhere. You can even stream the game and bet live while you watch, so you can flip game day into payday with MyBookie. Sign up for free today using our promo code HoopsDigest, and they'll match half of your deposit up to $1,000. Once again, that is promo code HoopsDigest to claim your deposit bonus and get the competitive edge. When you're betting with MyBookie, you're joining the winners team. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Now to get back on topic with the Sacramento Kings. As a neutral NBA fan, when you actually go back and take a look at the Domantas Sabonis for Tyrese Halliburton acquisition, when you look at it from the sense of giving up a talent of the caliber of Tyrese Halliburton, especially with the numbers he's putting up in his new situation in Indiana, I mean, sure, I can see the case being made for why it might not make sense to you. But on the other hand, when you try to look at it from the sense of the Sacramento Kings trying to win as early as possible, along with trying to get the highest level of production from some of your top tier players, you should be able to see the argument coming from both sides. And with this, along with a Sacramento Kings offseason that included bigger moves such as acquiring Keegan Murray from Iowa with the 4th overall pick, which, by the looks of it early at least, is going to be a great fit into this Kings team, and along with signing Malik Monk in free agency and even trading for Kevin Huerter from the Atlanta Hawks, which, to be honest with you, I think surprised a lot of people around the league, with Sacramento going into the start of the 2023 season with a starting five looking like this. While on paper at least, it definitely does look like an improvement from last season, I don't think it's a stretch to say that people's expectations were monumentally higher than what they had been for the Kings in prior years. But, and I know we're just a little over a month into this new NBA season, but maybe they should have been higher. And I know some of you might be like, what's the big deal, considering the Kings right now are a little bit over 500 and sitting at 5th seed in the West, which as a whole, teams will probably start to find their footing real quick. But I'm telling you, what sets this Sacramento team apart from almost any other team in the league at this point is the historic level of efficiency they are currently playing at. Because as of right now, even though yes, the record might not perceive it at first glance, the Kings, yes, the Sacramento Kings currently have the second highest rated operating offense out of any team in the entire league. And by Sacramento being able to do so without quote-unquote top-tier star power, which to many people in the NBA in today's day and age is considered almost essential to see any level of success. And also by saying this, that is not a shot at either De'Aaron Fox or Domantas Sabonis in any way, shape, or form, as in fact, they are even putting up exceptional and even career numbers so far this season. This is all more so just testifying to the fact that the Kings are simply playing better team basketball than almost anybody in the league from what I've seen so far. Because along with being one of the most efficient offenses so far this year, they're also actually averaging the second highest assist rate in the league and have 6 players on their roster currently who are averaging double-digit points. And the funny thing is that with everything we've mentioned so far, some of this still probably isn't adding up for most people watching this video. Because again, without any substantial roster changes over the offseason, and yes, while the case can be made that adding players like Keegan Murray, Kevin Huerter, and Malik Monk will definitely help the overall production of your team, there still might seem to be something missing regarding how successful they are. And it seems the missing ingredient Sacramento found this year, and I am still underestimating it when I word it this way, is their ability to absolutely abuse the fast break. Because trust me, it's not just like Sacramento is running and gunning with the basketball a little more than what we've seen from them. Because in just a one-season transition, they've gone from being a middle-of-the-pack team in terms of how quickly they run the floor, to now flat out being the quickest team to run the floor once gaining possession, beating out the rest of the league by almost half of a second. And while I know that might not seem like a lot, when there's only a 3-second gap difference between the first place team in the league as opposed to the last place team in the league, that should just further emphasize to you how much Sacramento has done so this year, and also how much they've run it to perfection. Because while yes, I know the frequency of how much they're using the fast break this season doesn't necessarily directly correlate to this, but it absolutely contributes in a pretty big factor. I would like to think that the Kings as a team have the highest effective field goal percentage in the NBA. And I also know that some of you probably just think this is a cute little hot start for Sacramento and there's not much significance to it. So just to kind of cement what the Kings are currently doing into your head a little bit further, what we're seeing from Sacramento wouldn't just be the most efficient offense that they've put up over the course of their playoff drought, but if they keep up the pace that they've been playing at, it will go down as one of the quickest and most efficient offenses that we have seen in the modern era. And yes, that is crazy for myself to say, and I'm sure it's even crazier for you to hear, but it just goes back to the fact that Sacramento has built out this roster almost perfectly to how they want to play the game and how they can most effectively. Because while they are playing with this high of a pace, don't think they aren't modernizing their offense right alongside it. Because this season, they are very noticeably taking a more substantial amount of threes per game, and also actually knocking down a larger amount of these attempts, which testifies right back into 3 of their biggest offseason acquisitions, and even a career year from De'Aaron Fox behind the arc, which he's currently on pace to put up a jump in this category that almost nobody could have saw coming. But also, when you just take a look at the Sacramento Kings team and even completely disregard this aspect in itself, whether you want to talk about other aspects with this team, like for example, the continually building chemistry that is being seen between De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, the hopeful development that will continue to be seen from some of their young guys, or even the over-exceeding of expectation and production that we've seen from some of their bench pieces, while their defense is absolutely the one area that needs to improve above all else, when you're talking about the Kings as a whole, it sure looks more promising right now than it has been in a very long time. But, of course, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Nonetheless though, you guys, with everything that we've mentioned so far regarding the Sacramento Kings, I am of course extremely curious to hear what you all have to think about their situation. So please be sure to let me know in the comments what has been the most surprising aspect to you about the Sacramento Kings so far, and also, if you had to, give me a prediction for what you think their record will be to end the year. But again, you guys, if you haven't yet, don't forget to go down below and leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and of course, subscribe while you're down there. Like I said, brand new NBA content coming out every single week, so you do not want to miss it. But also, I just wanted to say thank you so much to each and every one of you out there for watching. I appreciate you all more than anything. You all know this, and I will see you guys in the next video.